Welcome back. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show this morning. And in our second interview, we want to have a conversation that's been making the rounds in the media, in the news for the last about 1.5 weeks, and that's the one on illicit brews and how we move on from here. And in studio, I'm joined by Mr. Francis Kiambi, Association of Spirit Manufacturers of Kenya, and John Abongo, Director of Quality Assurance at Kenya Bureau of Standards. Gentlemen, very good morning to you, and thank you so much for coming this morning. First and foremost, the President has asked those eradicating the illicit brews to refrain from destruction. And I'll start with you, Mr. Kiambi, seeing as you're with the Manufacturers Association. From a licensed firm's point of view, what action will you take, towards now achieving reconciliation with the government now that most feel the President's directive was abused?
Actually, thank you very much for having me here. We were with the President from the word go.
Okay.
We were not against what the President said.
Okay. As
the industry. The only thing that came up is that there was a mix-up in the operations because we did it indiscriminately. The President said we were doing illicit liquor, and of course the same government that gave us the licenses, we expect some protection from that government unless the law was changed. Now, when it started, we expected that we've seen, even in the raid itself, some very funny substances, which we refer to as illicit liquor, liquor without license, without formality, without control. But what has happened thereafter, after the start of the business, we started with a novel idea, but it went out of hand. When we started now using people, ordinary people, without regard of any law, and especially the political aspect, because if you get supporters, you cannot rule out that it will not be fair, because the politicians would want to make people happy. Well, there is a problem, we understand, of alcoholism. Not even the real deaths that we are talking about. There is a very big problem of alcoholism, people over-consuming alcohol, and which we also manufacture, but we don't expect the society not to be drinking that much. What we are saying is, if the government wanted to raid this thing properly, first of all, we should have controlled the deaths that occur because of consumption of alcohol. Then we go to eradication of alcoholism. And this could have been controlled by 2 points only. One is effectively putting the law into use. We open the right hours and make sure that the outlets are being licensed in the right places. That would have reduced the consumption. Now, the second one is poisoning. Actually, when people die, we as manufacturers are blamed. But the critical is only that we do not have the capacity to go to press every day to show you the cases that we have of counterfeit people that we've taken to court. There is also the need of the MPs to make good laws that creates heavy punishments on those who are counterfeiting. Our companies invest a lot in investigations. When we get somebody to take him to court, contrabanding your product, is given 50,000 cash bill, and probably the fine will be even less. Now,
so there's a problem when it comes to counterfeit goods getting into the market, and you as the original manufacturer then is challenged when you go to court, and the fines are not as heavy as you expect them to be.
Yes, and of course the fines are not supposed to be heavy from the magistrate point of view. They should be heavy from a law point of view.
A law point of view.
Actually, we are not blaming the courts. It's the law that is like that.
Okay, we'll come back to you just now. Mr. Abong, I want to come to you. And I think part of the confusion that we saw, especially last week, was in the definition of what second-generation drinks are, leading to the destruction of genuine and licensed, liquor to be sold in the country. So I think we should start by understanding what second-generation drinks are.
Thank you, Madam. This word second generation, it has become now a common word, but I can confirm to you, in CAPS, there is nothing like second generation definition in our categories of standard. This word, I don't know where it is coined from, but when we talk about the categories of standard we have, there is nothing like a standard on second generation, as if there's first generation or third generation or this. But now that it became a common talk,
part and parcel,
or what we must live with, we have to find a way of making people understand it.
Yes.
Now, the part of the explanation that we try to narrow it in from the standard perspective, it is associated with the raw materials that are used in the brand, and particularly the mechanism of making the alcohols that we talk about.
Okay.
In simple terms, it can be close, because I really would not have a proper definition, because we don't have it as from the standards perspective.
Yes.
As I said, there's no standard on it.
Okay.
But it would be something closer to how the brews are made, and the source. And how the brews are made would be that they take simple neutral spirits, mix it with water in certain proportions, and add flavors of what it wants come out. That gives a certain percentage of alcohol content. So that must be in the minds of the creators or the originators of this word. But from the standard perspective, we have no established standard talking about this is a standard on second generation product. All
right, thank you for that clarification. Now, yesterday an article in the newspaper says that KEBS has issued a directive that all methanol that comes into the country has to be denatured.
Yes.
Past, what is denaturing, and was this being done before?
In fact, maybe that was just, it was done last year, not even now. We denatured alcohol. You remember, if you follow it closely, same time we had something similar. People died in a number of places, in Nandi, in Muranga, in Makueni, and we went further to find out what's part of the cause. And actually we found that actually methanol, which was considered a raw material, was coming in with sobriety, that is a raw material which can go to the food sector or the paint. But we ran that abuse in the usage. The part of the alcohol was going into the food. Now methanol, of course, is a raw material, and we did the nurturing last year. We did two things to methanol. One, because it was a raw material, it was exempted from what we call the PVOC program, pre-export verification of conformity. All goods that are in the PVOC list are supposed to be inspected at source and come with what we call certificate of conformity. Now we agreed with the industry that since methanol was a raw material, it was exempted from that requirement. When we realized that it was abused in the usage, we put it back. We insisted from, I think, May last year, methanol is mandatory in the PVOC list and must be inspected at source and given certificate of conformity. Now, since it is clear like ethanol, there was that danger of the abuse. So we said methanol must also be denatured. Denaturing means making it taste bad, making it something that you cannot put in the mouth. And we do that using the natonium benzoate, and that was to make it, stop it from being diverted to the alcohol sector. Yes.
You say this is something that came up last year, you know, at the same time when we had the same issue. It's back this year. What exactly is the problem?
Now this is where we now try to find out what is it that is not changing, because we denatured the alcohol. In the manufacturing sector, we also introduced over and above extra measures that the manufacturers are complying with. For example, for us to certify anybody, any manufacturer making alcohol, one, they must have a standard on the product that they are making. Two, they must have a laboratory. Even if it is not elaborate, they must have a laboratory, because that is what, at least they should be able to know the parameters of what they are selling. And three, they must have a qualified person in food science and technology in those premises. Those measures are in place, and they are important before we talk about certification of a product from a particular source. All this has taken place, but from the practices and from the discussions we have had with the industry and even the stakeholders, part of these problems is not just the quality of the alcohol. Part of these problems is due with the illegalities, people who are not gone through the formal process of production, registration, certification. And part of the problem is also the users. the alcohol abuse. Yes.
But how do we deal with such a scenario? And Mr. Kiambi had brought it up, a few minutes ago, saying that we have a lot of fake products in the market that have fake certification, that have fake KEBS marks.
Correct.
How then do we go about dealing with that? Because that then becomes a very serious problem. If I find this cup and has a KEBS sticker, how would I know, this is fake or it's true, or it's, real?
Thank you, madam. Yes, identification of KEBS stickers, I agree, there's been a challenge on it. But one of the measures, and some of the measures that we are undertake, in fact, last year, we also went public on a number toll-free line, which we are using. You can use a smartphone to identify, to put in that number. You use SM hash, you put in that number, put the brand of the product that you are talking about. If you send that message to 20023, then that number should tell you, pop back, give you a message that this product is certified, that it's a valid KEBS mark, and it is valid up to such a time. It has taken up to some been taken up to some extent in the public, but above that, we are also on a software which will come out hopefully before the end of the year, that will be user-friendly for the manufacturers, that will have a permit number on the product, on the package, and that permit number, there will be direction, and now use your smartphone to verify how it is coming about.
Okay.
That is from the KEBS perspective.
Okay.
But remember, the government formed the intergovernment agencies. Now, this formation of intergovernment agencies has even the intelligence inside. So with the intelligence and the Ministry of Interior, I'm sure some of these outlets which are illegal shall be weeded out or shall come on board, and they're either closed, or because one thing is certain, there are people who do not want to go through the formal legal process of being certified or being registered.
Okay. Mr. Kiambi, let me come to you and ask you, as the Association of Spirits Manufacturers of Kenya, of course, you know what is going out there. You know those people who are brewing this illicit alcohol. But you've not been as vocal as would have loved to hear.
That is true.
Why? I mean, and this is going on. Why haven't you been vocal?
Actually, we cannot say we've not been vocal. It's only that, of course, we've not been involving the media in the campaign as such, which is sorry on our case. I would say an example where I'm the MD. We've almost 10 cases in court of apprehending people. And one of the people was almost killing people in May last year before I arrested him with my materials. The case is still in court. The only thing that I'm seeing the government should do is edit the law or revise the law as pertains to counterfeit products, especially food products, because that is death. If, for example, we have a trace mechanism of transferring responsibilities all the way back to the manufacturer, would appreciate so much. But we need a framework. The government should work with us so that we can also give our views. What I propose is that the biggest responsibility of any related crime in alcohol should be given to the retailer himself, the last point of sale, because this is where we have malpractice of purchase, and even sometimes
me being the retailer, you being the manufacturer. So I'm the one who is
supposed to hold the greatest responsibility.
Okay. Please
so
explain why.
Yes, I will explain why. You are the one who can buy products from me and from another source which is cheaper to make some more money. You can also have your own concoction giving people to make more money in pretext of my name. So if the fines or the penalties are very heavy, and then they are given to the retailer as the first bearer, it would be easier this way. If somebody drank at your place, then he has a problem with the stomach. We don't go rounding up everybody in the area. We seal that premises. Then let him tell us, I bought from Abongs. Now we go to Abongs and seal the area. Then Abongs tells us, I bought it from another, the distributor of the company. I'm the retailer, you are the wholesaler, he's the distributor, and the company is there. So that way we follow the channel and we get to the company itself. That will be very easy to trace. It's just as simple as that, but it's the most effective way of reducing deaths. Plus the punishment should also be too heavy to bear. Let's say if somebody died at your place, whoever is found culpable, even be imprisoned for life, so long as you are not transferring responsibility to another person.
To any other person.
Yes.
Let me ask you, what has been the economic impact of this crackdown on your members? Actually,
it's enormous, and not only on our members only, even the country itself.
Yes.
Because what happened is that there was a rupture of business. All was handled, and of course the secret of any business is stocking. So any distributor who was doing his business legitimately would invest all his money in stock, because that is where he gets his daily bread. And he did not even perceive one day there will be a post-election violence from what we saw last time in 2008. So we were not fearing, as traders, and even our customers were not fearing. Then it worked out one day in the morning. The people now, the mob, they get out. They are confiscating, vandalizing, and they're stealing from everybody. We cannot even estimate the loss. Actually, we're going to sit down and see. We cannot.
Today you can't?
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing is, Kirigo, I have members who have obeyed all the government rules. And of course, we also work within a certain law. If Kenya feels that alcohol is too much, what they need to do is amend the laws. And we don't mind if they feel Kenya should be alcohol-free state. We will also oblige to that. But
are you willing to close down your manufacturing points?
We were willing, so long as it's done for everybody.
It's done for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if it's done for everybody, then we say, like in Saudi Arabia, where no consumption of alcohol is allowed, it's okay. But since we had the government permits to work, when the KEBS suspended our licenses to do a re-inspection with other agencies, we did not complain. We obliged to that. When our customers were told that there was, when the spirits licenses have been withdrawn, they also obliged. They never opened. But now you can imagine somebody coming with an axe to demolish your store.
Your store, then
it becomes, and for your information, this is how Al-Shabaab, all the gangs are made. You know why? Today, the first day when this crackdown started, people were given money to go out and do the operation, because they never knew where they were going. Because you cannot tell somebody, let's go and demolish somebody's house, and you don't know how the security issue will be. But when they went the first day, they robbed and got a lot of free things. So the following day, they were waiting for whoever called them to call them. They were in groups. They were called. That day, if this guy never came, they would ask, where is our boss? Because you want to go to the operation. Now, what will happen to these axes that we are seeing, the pangas we are seeing, when these politicians exit the system? These gangs will remain organized.
Remain organized. All right. Mr. Bongs, now we've said the second generation term is one that has just been picked up in the recent past.
I don't know there's a media.
Yes. Allow me to use it because that is what I know. But you have asked second generation manufacturers to stop further production until a review is done. When will this review be done, and what does it entail?
To be specific, we did not talk about second generation, but we said portable spirit manufacturers.
Portable spirit? Portable
spirit manufacturers, because we go by the standard, and the standard that we're talking about is on portable spirit manufacturers.
Okay.
Now, we suspended the permits, unfortunately, but again, it is also provided in the Act that if you have the permits, it can be suspended pending confirmation of certain things. So it is within the law. And it should be very clear that suspension does not mean that all those products are wholesomely not complying. That's not the position. The position is that there are non-compliances, there is a problem in the market, and now we are sitting down, we are going back to the drawing board. Where did the rain start beating us with this? So it should not be taken that the 385 permits that we suspended, they were 100% not complying. No, we reacted like that to go back to the drawing board and sieve or filter the status of which one are consistent and which ones are not consistent. Now, so that should be clear in the mind that it is provided for, and it is understood that at sometimes there is going back to the drawing board to get your root if there's a problem.
Okay.
Now, there is until review is done. Now the review now is managed from the Ministry of Interior, and you remember it was said that we shall have inter-government agencies. That is a very good thing to have. That, by the way, that's a very good thing because
the intergovernmental agencies.
Intergovernment agency is a very good thing to have because this is not purely a KEBS affair. Yes, from what you can hear in the market, from what you can get from my friend Francis, you find there are aspects of licensing. There are aspects of illegality. People who are not registered, they're operating. See, there are other arms of governments, other departments of government that are better placed to bring that on board and find a way of dealing with it. So in the intergovernment agencies, a lot of things will come up. Certification will come up, or illegal existence will come up. The unlicensing or licensing process will come up. So this is important. The intelligence information on the practices will come up in that intergovernment agency. Last week we participated in forming or constituting that because we are a government agency. And one of the things that we emphasized, we discussed, we are doing this with a humane face. And the humane face in it is such that we should move, the intergovernment agency will try to move as quickly as possible to see how they can reinstate those with no issues back to business. And that intergovernment justice committee will also have terms of reference. And within the terms of reference, some will be short term, some be long term. So that we make that intergovernment agency makes a big impact on the management, or at least bring order in or sanity in this sector.
Why do I get short term and someone else gets long term? Why do I get
not an individual, but what we can call quick gains. If there are some people with less issues, then the activities that are taken confirmed, then we clear them quickly to go back to business. The idea is not to paralyze the thing, but we want to put order and we put sanity. So it is not for an individual, but it is for the process, because some things within the requirements of, and I don't want to talk about them now because they have not been formalized, but some certain things may require investment, certain things may require sensitization, which you cannot do on a one day off.
Yes, true. Okay. Mr. Kiambi, a few years ago the government imposed duty on sorghum, a key plant in the manufacturing of alcohol and especially beer. Do you think that it is time this duty was removed to ensure things are better? Do you think that if we removed this duty on sorghum, things would be better?
Actually, not even on sorghum only. What we are facing here is, well, the government requires money.
Yes, it does.
We also want people not to consume a lot of alcohol.
You want people to consume a lot of alcohol?
No, not to consume a lot of alcohol. So we need fair and affordable drinks, so that when you go to Serena and then somebody else goes to a certain place in Dandora, we'll have the same kind of environment, but at different costs. So where the government can make it affordable for the consumers, but to consume in a decent manner, we highly welcome that. Of course, if the duty, we're talking of sorghum, there was no duty on sorghum. There was a duty on beer made with rules using sorghum. And actually, I was even involved in that project. Because the sorghum, 60% of that sorghum came from our place. Of course, when the duty was up, the sorghum was not there anymore to sell. So our farmers lost, because the product that was being made by that sorghum did not move as it was supposed to. So we highly welcome if it is reduced.
Well and good.
All
right, let me ask you, gentlemen, and this I want to be, your final word. This war against liquor always bounces back after some time. We've seen this going back and forth over the last few years. Is there a policy and institutional capacity to ensure that this doesn't happen again, or is it time to have the government think thoroughly through this fight? And I'll start with you, Mr. Abongs.
Thank you, Madam. The own liquor, first of all, look at liquor. Whoever the bad players in it, they are hitting where they know it is soft. People enjoy liquor. The people cannot do without. It's a society issue. It is as old as history. So they are hitting where people's interests are very close. Now, the war on liquor is a possibility. It can be done, but it requires, as it has been done, the intergovernment agencies involved can root this problem out and bring sanity. And what it requires, there are the professional bodies like, let's say, Kenya Bureau of Standards. We deal with it from the standards perspective. Now, there's this bit of the illegalities in it.
Yes.
The illegalities in it are the people who, they know they don't want to follow the process, and they hide behind their houses and make the alcohol. They may not have a brand, and they take the brand, they even collect the bottles of the competitors and fill in with their whatever, with whatever they're making.
Saying, you know, this come from China.
So they seal it, and even when they want now the seal, this the bottle that is sealing in a way that when you open it, you can see it is safe. They have bought those kind of machines behind their backyards. So the illegality component in it must be addressed. People who want one, they say that if the caps mark is a problem, then I must bring a fake caps mark, because they take it to a distributor. The distributor will ask, is it certified? Show me the mark. They said, if that's a problem, I will fake it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if the brand is the issue, Patiala is a brand, then I will employ people to get the bottles Patiala, put in my drink, put in the caps mark, it goes to the market. That aspect of illegal existence, the bigger picture the government would deal with through the intelligence information network and through the administration, and these groups are weeded out. The second aspect are the consumers.
Okay.
Quite often we find that we have discussed this matter with the industry. You find the consumers, some cases people die because they are competing in who can take less or who can take more. That's obviously an abuse of the process. So this kind of people need sensitization, or at whatever barasa level, or whether by the MPs, or whether by the provincial administration. Somehow sensitization needs to come in that makes people understand, in as much as it is good for my body, but abuse will result into some form of death. So the package in dealing this is the public need to know the danger of this, and they should be able to say, no thank you, this product I've seen it, I don't trust it, no thank you, I'm not taking no thank you. The other arms of the government dealing intelligence should be able to move around and find out, because these people are operating in some neighborhood. They are either in the estates or in places where people are doing something. So even the public should take it as a responsibility that if they suspect somebody is doing something strange around here, they report it to the government. Because with the public watch, the government will know some, even if they close like what, some noise will come from that factory, from that place. Some vehicles will be getting in and coming out with certain things. Members of the public should also equally take this as a responsibility, that when they see some strange things that you cannot understand, let the government know to go and find out what is happening. Intelligence information. Okay.
So, Mr. Bongs, for you, it is a network. We all have to work together to ensure that we curb this menace that has, you know, hit our country over the years. So it's the intergovernmental agencies, it is KEBS, it is Kirigo as an individual, it is Mr. Kiambi as a manufacturer. So we all have to come together to ensure that this menace comes. It's over.
Absolutely correct, because even the manufacturer, in fact we work very closely with the manufacturers. They also have their networks in knowing if somebody is faking their products, and they let us know. So we've involved the other governments to deal with it. But one of the strangest things that we may find, these people make, some even make products which comply, by the way, and they are not registered. They don't have a brand. When we get it in market surveillance, we can even test it and it may comply. But they have circumvented the legal process of existence, because part of our certification requires that you legally exist, and by that, if we catch up with you doing something wrong, then we can take you to court and we can close that premises. If you are doing this and you are not registered, and you are stealing the brand of Mr. Kiambi and you are selling, then even if you catch up with you, quickly vanish, take off. We have nothing to take to court. We can't catch up with you.
All right, thank you for your views. Mr. Kiambi, I don't hear what you have to say.
First I think I said what is necessary is strong laws. Kirigo, I don't know whether you were here 3 weeks ago, there was a very big factory that was demolished. There was all over the press. I think it was even involving Interpol. This is part of what we've been doing. We are trying as much as we can to fight the counterfeits. And for sure, we've done it strongly. Of course, when one individual dies, you cannot say it's a simple death. A death is a death. even if it's one Kenyan, we must complain. Our take home is this. If we need to finish the menace, first of all, the government should be close with us in terms of cooperation, in terms of working. Where we have intelligence, we can provide. Where they have issues, we can also clarify. Because right now, the people who bear these biggest loss is the operators of this business. And the reason is, somebody started this business from a saving of a small amount. He went ahead trying to do this thing for life. Like, that's the way these very big companies started. He went ahead, borrowed money from a bank. A very good case is that the plant that was burned in Naivasha. Actually, we understand this young man and got 50 million shillings from a bank almost half a year ago. He bought machines to modernize his factory so that he can compete at international level. Yes. Sincerely speaking, when a mob masquerading as going to save the public, go to a closed factory and they don't even inspect to see what is there, they just set it on fire. I think that is the wrong direction. What we are looking for is, yes, alcoholism is an issue, especially here in central Kenya. But the methods of solving that problem, probably the MPs were annoyed so much because of what happened. They were too rash. No, actually, probably the sons were drinking too much, and they had to look for a way of making it be seen, stigmatize the alcohol. It's okay. But now, we were in the legitimate business. How would we get compensated? If the government gave you the papers to work, and then the same government sends people, all brings in goons in the presence of police to destroy your business. Where do you get redress from? Actually, we don't want a lawless state. No. This is Kenya, and we love our country. By the way, we honor our MPs very much, and we appreciate the work they do. But sincerely speaking, suppose this MP happened to have this kind of business before, and then it's done like that. Destroyed in the process. By the way, I would say even the senior most politicians have hotels which are selling alcohol. True. So they need it's a chain. It's a chain. Right now, the business is started still, as we are talking now. Yes, of course. The reason is, currently, there is no importer who can sell anything. Yes. There is no manufacturer of spirits who can sell anything. Because, apart from, say, probably EABL have a reprieve, but I'm not saying this in bad faith, because their chain of distribution is vertically integrated. They manufacture and they distribute their own products. All other players use wholesale distribution chains. All the spirit manufacturers and importers. Now, when we are closed down, and then the wholesale shops are also closed down, it means none of us is in business. And since the licenses have also been suspended, it means there is nobody who is doing alcohol business now. And what that means to the government, I think they're losing out some money somewhere. Yes. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really, really appreciate your time, and we can only wish you the best on your way forward. Thank you once again. Now, don't go too far. On the other side of this studio, Willis Raburu and Wahiga Maura are practicing for what is coming up in a few minutes. You'll be teaching us how to play that. Do you even know how to play that, Steph? Can't you see what we're doing? Okay, so they think they know how to play that, but we have the professionals in a few minutes. They'll be joining us in studio to tell us about this world that has taken some by storm. For now, I want to take you to the other studio where we can enjoy some nice music before we come back here. Enjoy.